Session of alternative building materials course. In the last session, we have been discussed the two materials, that is lime pozzolana cement, and one more material, that is fiber reinforced cement composite. So moving on to the next material that will be used in alternative building materials, that is fiber reinforced polymer composites. Okay, so this is the predominant material used in civil engineering field nowadays. And with this material, a lot of advancement has been happened and happening in the civil engineering field. So let us know, okay, how exactly or what, okay, the magic does this by material. Okay. So coming to the introduction part. So now in the last fiber reinforced cement composite, you are preparing a concrete which is very strong. That means you are bothering more about the tension, ductility, toughness, everything. Okay, because those were the drawbacks in the plain cement concrete. Now you want a material in such a way that apart from it is strong enough to withstand all the loads, additionally, it should possess some other properties. For example, I want a lightweight so that I can make it more flexible to take care of earthquake. Okay. Or I can say if I want to improve something, okay, I want a lightweight. If I want to put a material which is a lightweight, so then the fiber reinforced cement composite is not a material to go at because the density of concrete will be very high. When you're going to put a fibers, obviously the concrete the density will be very high. Now, if you want a material in such a way that if it is strong, okay, lightweight and durable, that means resistant to the corrosion and resistant to chemical. Okay, and also a very important property I can say, permeable to electromagnetic radiations. Okay, has led to this the advent of fiber reinforced polymer composite. So what I am trying to say here is, if you want a material, okay, in such a way that if it is strong, lightweight, corrosion, chemical resistance, permeable to electromagnetic radiation, so then we come up with a material called fiber reinforced polymer composites. Okay, so if you want to achieve these properties, or if your requirement is with respect to these properties, so then I'm come up with a new material called fiber reinforced polymer composites. So how this FRP has came into the civil engineering field, let us know. So in the initial years, these FRP composites were predominantly used in aerospace application. So whatever the aerodrome or whatever the aeroplanes they are going to manufacture, okay, so this aeroplane, okay, whatever they are going to manufacture, okay, so at that particular instance you require a material of this type, that is polymer based composites. So then as civil engineer has started to think, why can't we go ahead with this material in civil engineering field? Okay, why can't we go ahead? So now, that is in the last 2 decades, whether it is civil or structural engineer and architects, okay, they have realized that there is a lot of potential in FRP composites if you're going to bring this material in the building industry. Okay, so if you bring this material in the building industry, okay, so if you want to think a material, okay, which will be strong, lightweight, corrosion, chemical resistance, everything. Okay, so if you want to use this material, so why can't we go ahead with this civil engineering field so that you can get a good properties? So now the good flow characteristics of a polymer. Now, initially in the fiber reinforced cement composites, the matrix phase was concrete. Please note this point. The matrix phase was concrete, but now the matrix phase is polymer. Did you get my point? Now the matrix phase is polymer. Okay. And the fiber same as it is. Whatever the fiber have been used, the same fiber I am going to use. Okay. That is, it is used as a matrix which enables the incorporation of large volume up to 70% of reinforced. See, this is the advantage. See, in the fiber reinforced cement composite, we have a drawback to go ahead with a volume fraction. Okay, that is, as I stated in the behavior, okay, you can go up maximum up to the volume fraction of 2%, 3%. But you can see here, you can go with 70% fibers inside the polymer matrix. So that is the invention. Okay, they have been come up. So that is called FRP composites. Did you get my point? So this is what FRP composites. Okay. So when I'm going to blend the fibers in the polymer matrix, so that will become a fiber reinforced polymer matrix. Okay. So let us know further. So this is regarding the introduction part. So from the introduction, you came to know that, so whatever the material they were using in, okay, this civil engineering, sorry, aeronautical field. So why can't we think of using this material in civil engineering field? Because it has got so many advantages. It is strong, lightweight, corrosion resistant, everything. So this is what we require in civil engineering field also. Okay, if anything, if you want to go ahead with a material, you want a strong, you want a lightweight, you want a corrosion resistance. So all these properties possessed by FRP. So why can't we go ahead with this? So like this, they started to think and they come up with this material in the civil engineering field. So with this brief introduction, let me define what is the FRP. So fiber reinforced polymer composite is a two-phase material. So that's what a composite means, a combination of two material. What is that? Consisting of polymer matrix reinforced with small diameter, which are either continuous or discontinuous and oriented unidirectional or randomly. Okay, so now it is a two-phase material which consists of polymer matrix. Earlier I was using concrete, now I'm using polymer. So this polymer matrix reinforced with small diameter fibers. So these fibers are either continuous, that means they have been laid continuously or discontinuously. That is one thing. And another very important thing here is unidirectional. So this was the problem we have observed in FRC, because there I have clearly highlighted that when you induce the fiber in such a way that it is unidirectional, that means if I lay the fibers in the direction of the load, then automatically the material property will be enhanced. But that was not possible in the case of FRC because it is highly tedious to do that. Okay, so compulsory we need to go with random distribution. But in this particular material, the advantage is you can go at unidirectional if you want, or if you go ahead with randomly oriented. Okay, so whatever the way you can orient and lay it. So that is the speciality of FRP. Okay, so if I want to conclude the definition, so FRP is a two-phase material consists of polymer matrix. So this polymer matrix, I am going to induce the same fibers, the same small diameter, small length fibers, okay, which are oriented unidirectionally and randomly. So this material is called FRP. And the material will be very thin, just like a mat. So FRP we are going to manufacture as a sheet. Please note this. I am going to manufacture the FRP as a sheet or mat. Okay. So coming to the matrix materials. So what are the matrix material? So the matrix in the composite performs the following functions. So whatever the polymer matrix. So in this particular topic, okay, see in the FRC, I discussed more about your fibers, because the matrix part you people have already been read in your lower course. So coming to the FRP, okay, in this I will discuss more about matrix, because polymer matrix is new to you people. Okay, but fiber you already know. You already know because in the last session I've been discussed. Okay, the fibers inducing the everything. So in this particular FRP, I will talk more about the polymer matrix and the production process. Okay. So coming to this, so whatever the matrix I'm using, okay, as in order to prepare FRP, it should perform the following function, just like your fibers. Just like a fiber, if I'm going with a matrix, that means a matrix in the FRP, so what properties it should possess? Or what is the matrix that should perform the function? So the first thing, it should act like a glue. That means it glues the bundles of the fiber together and helps in distributing the external load to all the fiber. That means, so this will create a good bonding. That means the polymer, whatever you are using, should act like a glue in such a way that it should bind effectively with the fibers, okay, in such a way that whatever the load transmitted on the FRP, so those load will be equally distributed on all the fibers. So that function should perform by the matrix or polymers. Next, it should protect the fibers from the adverse environmental effects and prevents the buckling of fibers under compressive force. So now, the next thing is whatever I can say the fibers which I'm going to induce in polymer matrix. So this matrix should act like a covering material, or it should act like a jacket in such a way that the fibers will be protected within the polymer matrix so that it will not allow to get attracted towards the environmental effects. Okay, so whatever the environmental effects or adverse environmental effects will be induced on the fibers, so those things will be protected by the polymer matrix. And the next thing, okay, it should prevent the buckling. That means whatever the material I'm going to produce, that is FRP, if I'm going to induce with a compressive force, for example, in the column. So in the column, if I'm going to stick or apply this FRP, and if I'm going to load it, axially, so that whatever the FRP I'm going to add, so that fiber should carry, more compressive force without undergoing any buckling. Okay. Next, it protects the fibers from the mechanical abrasion. That means any abrasion effect, wear and tear, it will be subjected. So the fiber should be taken care by the polymer matrix. It should protect. Next, the polymers are also called as resins. Okay, this is the commonly used. So polymer is also called resins, are employed as a matrix in the FRP. So the polymers predominantly used is resins. So these resins they are going to add as a matrix in the FRP composites. Now, so let me go with a brief chemistry involved in this. Okay, so what is polymers? The polymers are classified into, or I can say, first let me define the polymer. So the polymers are the large organic compounds formed by joining together of many small molecules, to form a large molecule by a process called polymerization. That means the small molecules are joined together. That is called monomers. Each monomer will be joined together by a process called polymerization. So that is called polymers. The combination of a large organic compound or joining of a small molecules to form a large organic compound will be called polymerization. Okay, so this word came from Greek, that is called poly, that means many. Okay, maros mean many parts. Okay, so this is a word polymers. So now come to the things. So that's what the simple compounds from which polymers are made called monomers. So the monomers are joined to form a polymers. So now the polymers are classified into two types. One is thermoset polymers, another one is thermoplastic polymers. So what is this thermoset and thermoplastic polymers? So both the thermoset and thermoplastic polymers are long chain molecules. That means the process of manufacturing the polymer will be differs here. How? Let us see. Coming to the thermoset polymers, the polymers in which the long chain are interconnected with a chemical bond or cross-link formed by a rigid three-dimensional structures are called thermoset polymers. Okay, so for example, if this is a long chain molecule, this is a long chain molecule. So this long chain molecule, I'm going to interconnect. Okay, I'm going to interconnect something like this. Okay, so this will become a thermoset polymer. And this will be interconnected by a chemical bond or a cross link. So this is called cross links. Okay, so this cross links will join the long chain molecules to connect these long chain molecules. So it will become thermoset polymers. So coming to the thermoplastic polymers, so here also the long molecule chain are not chemically connected, but they are held in place by a weak secondary bonds like van der Waals forces or van der Waals bonds. Did you get my point? So thermoplastic polymers are joined by van der Waals bonds, and the thermoset polymers, the long molecular chain, are bonded by chemical bonds. Is it clear? So next, the thermosets are generally liquid resins. Okay, it is a generally liquid resins which are heat activated to achieve cross linking. So whenever I want to join this long molecule, then I should heat this. Okay, without heating, I cannot join these longer chain molecules. So this longer chain molecule, I cannot join with these cross links. And thermoplastics are solids which have to be melted by heating, molded to the desired shape and cool. Okay, so the thermoplastic will be solid in nature. Okay, it should be heated and melted, and later on it should be poured to the mold if you want to get any desired shape, and later on it should be cooled to get thermoplastic polymer. Did you get my point? So this is regarding a small introduction regarding the polymers. So now let me go ahead with this, the various resins. Okay, so from the examination point of view, this is not much important, these resins, but you should know, okay, what will be the polymer matrix they are going to use. So that's why, okay, I come up with these things. Okay, from the examination point of view, they will not ask, okay, oh, what will be the polymer matrix? Okay, but you should know how exactly the polymer matrix, okay, will be there, or which polymer matrix you are going to use. So first one is polyester resin. So this is the first polymer matrix I am going to use in order to produce FRP. So how to produce this polyester resin? So these are formed by considering diacid with dialcohol. By the elimination of water between acids and alcohol molecules, it is collectively called polyester resins. The carbon double bond contained in every repeating unit of the polymer will serve as the location for cross-linking to occur. Polyester resins are the cheapest resins, and it is also called polymers, suitable for making composites for civil engineer. So this is the predominantly used polyester resin. The principal acids and glycol used in manufacture of polyester resins are, so that means what acids and what glycol they have been using. So the material they are going to use in order to produce polyester resins are malic anhydride, that is unsaturated acid, orthophthalic and isophthalic acids, and polypropylene and ethylene glycol. So these are the chemicals they are going to use in order to manufacture polyester resin. Next, styrene, which is reactive diluent added to the resulting polymer liquids to reduce their viscosity. So in order to reduce the viscosity, you can add this styrene to these compounds. So this is regarding polyester. So coming to the vinyl ester. So these vinyl ester resins are derived from bisphenol A diglycidyl ether with acrylic or methacrylic acid. So all these are chemistry. So the vinyl esters are classified separately from polyester. Okay, it is a separate wing, okay, from the polyester due to enhanced mechanical properties, because the mechanical properties will be very good if you are going to use vinyl ester. They offer excellent physical strength and in general possess much better impact and thermal shock resistance than polyester resins. A unique characteristic of vinyl ester is it contains hydroxylic groups all along its length. Why? which can form physical bonds with similar groups on glass fiber surface, resulting in excellent wet but and good adhesion with glass fiber. So this is the boon for vinyl ester. So because of it, hydraulic oxide groups, so it can get a good adhesion with glass fibers. Next, epoxy resin. So these resins are generally manufactured by reacting epichlorohydrin with bisphenol A. Okay, varying the properties of two reactants from different resins, forms different resins. So the epoxy possess desirable properties like excellent adhesion, excellent strength, low shrinkage, corrosion protection, and processing versatility. So these resins are expensive compared to polyester, and this is the predominantly used what I can say polymer matrix in application wise. So this is the predominantly used resin or polymer matrix. Okay. So this is regarding your what I can say the polymer matrix. Okay, they are good. It is a complete chemistry. Okay, you need not to worry much, but you need to know how exactly or what exactly it should comprises of. Okay, it is a complete chemistry. Next, so apart from this, okay, the polymer matrix, including the fiber, they are also going to use one more material in the FRP, which is called fillers and other additives. That is, apart from fibers and polymer matrix in FRP, the additional materials they are going to use is fillers and other additives. Why? Fillers are added to thermoset polymeric matrices for one of the following reasons. And whatever the polymers we are using, almost I can say it is a thermoset. That means we need to heat it, melt it, and then we need to pour it. So that is the property. Okay. Reduced cost, increased stiffness, okay, reduce mold shrinkage, control viscosity, produce a smoother surface. So these are all the okay advantages you are going to get when you're going to add a fillers okay inside the FRP composites. Next, the most common okay fiber okay for polyester and vinyl ester resin is okay not is sorry it is a filler, it is not filter, sorry, it is filler. The most common filler used for polyester and vinyl ester resin is calcium carbonate. So this is the filler material they are going to add additionally inside the FRP composite because it can reduce the cost as well as the mold shrinkage property. So the mold will not be get shrinked. So other material employed as fillers are clay, mica, glass microspheres. So all these materials they are going to add. Even though fillers increase modulus of elasticity, they reduce the strength and impact resistance of the cured resins. That means we need to be very cautious while adding fillers. In addition to fillers, colorants, flame retardants, ultraviolet absorbers are also added to the resins. So these are all the additives. Okay, so all these things okay will be added okay inside the polymer matrix to prepare FRP. So coming to the fibers which have already been discussed, okay, the different types of fibers, it may be steel fiber, glass fiber, carbon fiber, okay, any fiber you can go ahead. So that is the regarding have been written. Did you get my point? So that's what they've been written. Reinforcement in the form of fibers, particles, whiskers are used with resin system to improve the mechanical properties of the resins and to produce usable products. The most important fiber used with polyester and epoxy resin is glass fiber. Okay, so this is the predominantly used fiber inside the polymer matrix to produce. So which is available in varieties of forms like rovings, woven rovings, cloths. That rovings means it is something like we are going to wound. So that is called rovings. Something like a thread, okay, wound to the particular material, that is called woven rovings. I'm going to show you all these things. Okay, randomly chopped fibers. So these are all the process they are going to use in order to manufacture this FRP. Okay, which I'm going to discuss. In recent years, high-strength carbon fibers and polyaramid fibers have found increased use in manufacture of composite material. So recently, so that's what I wanted to highlight. Whatever the FRP mat they are preparing, whatever the FRP mat they are preparing, so those FRP in those FRP mat predominantly used material is carbon fibers. So carbon fiber is a predominantly used material, and next is polymer aramid fibers. So these two fibers are used in order to manufacture the composite because of the high potential of carbon fibers with respect to the properties. And apart from this, you can go ahead with natural fibers, as I stated, jute, sisal, all those things. Okay. So this is regarding the fibers. I think I talked more about fibers in the last session. Okay. In the last session, I've been talking more regarding the fibers. So this is regarding your things. So the next is manufacturing process. Okay. So coming to the manufacturing process. So in the that means how you are going to manufacture the FRP composites. Okay. With the help of the raw materials such as polymer matrix, fibers, fillers, additives. So all these things, how you're going to manufacture. The mechanical properties of FRP depends upon the manufacturing process. So please note this point. How you are going to go ahead with the manufacturing process, so entirely depends upon the FRP composite properties. So that is, what is the method you are going to use to manufacture the FRP? What is the type of the fiber you are going to use to manufacture the FRP? What are the relative properties of the polymer and the fiber you are going to use? What will be the orientation of the fiber, that is unidirectional orientation or randomly orientation? Okay, so I will tell you all these things because as I stated, unidirectional orientation is very good compared to randomly orientation because it will carry more loads. There are several techniques available for the manufacture of FRP. These techniques can be grouped into two categories, namely manual methods and automated methods. So the two methods are being used. Okay. Composite processed using manual methods will have lower values of strength, okay, and stiffness than the one processed by automate. Obviously, the mechanized methods will be having a more advantage as compared to the manual method. And all the manufacturing process of composite has been divided into following stages. So these are the stages you are going to come across in the manufacturing of FRP. That means whatever the types of FRP manufacturing process are there, so that involves these stages. So what are those stages? Mixing of resin and activator, that is the first stage. Okay, the resin and activator. Next, dispensing or pouring the resin into the mold. Pouring the resin into the mold, that is next thing. Curing it, positioning the reinforcement in the mold, that means how you want, whether it is unidirectional or randomly. Okay, that is what positioning. Next, impregnating the reinforcement with the resin. So finally, I am going to pour the resin, okay, to impregnate the fibers to a particular surface. Okay, so this is the stages. These are all the stages I am going to look in order to manufacture the FRP composites. Did you get my point? Okay, so hope you have understood the things. Okay, so with these brief things, okay, let me go ahead with a different manufacturing process. Okay, there are different manufacturing process which I am going to discuss in the next class or next session. Okay, so because okay, I'm going to wind up at this particular session. So hope you have understood whatever the things have been discussed. Okay, in today's session we have been discussed what is FRP, what are the things you are going to gain from FRP, and what will be the polymer matrix. Okay, and what will be the importance of fibers, and what okay properties or what advantages you are going to get. Okay, the functions, all those things we have been discussed. With these okay things, and by coming to know about what are all the raw materials used in FRP, okay, in the next session I am going to talk regarding the manufacturing process of FRP composites. Okay, how to produce the FRP laminate. Okay, FRP laminates or sheets. Okay, so that I'm going to start in the next session. So hope you understood whatever have been discussed in this particular session in connection to the fiber reinforced polymer composites. Okay, thank you for watching the video.